Or not. We'll see tomorrow. Or tonight.
You know what else we'll see? The game. We're into it. Blanks
Whoosh.
and 2-1-3, 2-1-3 against Condemned and Iska. Is it going to be Project Horizon again? I don't know. Where are you going to put your chips?
Where are you gonna put the bets, folks?
I mean, the betting man would bet Project Horizon, right? It's undisputable. They've won the most tournaments out of any team.
But you're right. There's something new. They got a rook.
They've got a rookie rook. We'll see. Condemned and Iska played really well, I think, in the semifinals. Close games, but I think the adaptation and the strategy and the flexibility is really what I'm looking for here, because I think that's going to be the biggest thing for
rook.
them.
2-1-3. What's happening? Where's Lucy?
He's trying to duel out. He's trying to brawl out these matches. Blanks got zoned out by the positioning that Condemned and Iska set up for themselves. But again, I mean, I'm not surprised that this is happening right now. Project Horizon is so good at losing, even losing the first round or going behind in the early moments and then just somehow coming back.
I mean, they're still up right now in health somehow. Oh, we're gonna see Shifu take some. What? How did he get the meat stick? How did he line that up?
That was a rock into the meat.
Oh, that was absolutely phenomenal.
2-1-3, 2-1-3 is just a little bit too good at flinging his meat around.
I mean, if there's one thing to get renowned for, it's a great thing to get renowned for. But now we're gonna see.
I mean, flinging meat, getting stoned. This is not appropriate. Iska, juke, gets feared. Now here's a rock. Oh, he's just gonna run into the deep depths of darkness.
Yep. For glory.
The sun fades.
Oh, that was a really appropriate statement.
It really was. That
What
was
a
perfect.
nerd.
The sun.
He's a role player.
He is.
He was getting into the story and the lore. He's
Taking-
like, I'm gonna have a cool phrase to say when I.
He was so ready. He's like, I'm gonna die slowly, and I'm gonna go out with a cool phrase. Isn't that how everyone wants to go out?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go down, if I'm gonna be removed from this planet, I hope I say something really cool before it happens. You know, like, don't eat the hot dogs.
Don't eat the
That's gonna be my final word, folks. Don't eat the hot dogs. But the best part is now anyone that heard me say that as I was, dying, is gonna be scared to eat hot dogs for the rest of their lives.
I'm never gonna go out and eat hot dogs with you, because if you say don't eat the hot dogs, I'll be very concerned for your well-being. Condemned, heading in. Iska getting petrifies, but that's not really gonna convert into very much of anything. Barrier actually gets baited out by Blanks, and he needs to make sure he does not get connected on, and a good roll is gonna prevent it. But the counter does get hit. Iska does land. The barrier still has a little bit. There it finally is. But again, no damage actually landing onto that barrier, and I think the timing of the cooldowns is just a little bit awkward for Blanks. Will end up kiting away the majority of the damage somehow, though. Counter does land for Shifu. Activates Kunju and gets a good stab onto Blanks again. Incapacitated on the wall, charge stun, gets a swing, tries to proc the counter, but Whirling Blade. There's a double ultimate, the Shifu Serious Special.
Somehow Rook still comes out with so much health.
They're so even. Despite the fact that I feel like there was a lot of things going the way of Condemned and Iska in the early moments of the match, they end up about even. Nice use of the barrier. Will not lose any health for that exchange, but now Condemned does make another connection here. Blanks is gonna roll out, the Clarity Potion is gonna push Iska away, and the target of choice seems to be 2-1-3, 2-1-3 now. Banana will get dodged out. There's a counter, but he will get petrified up. Meanwhile, Blanks is being pressured by Condemned here. The fear does land, but the charge will whiff, and they're clumped up. This is a dangerous spot. There's so much health to make up here for Project Horizon. Center Orb will go the way of Not Sure if prizes are real, and then Condemned will close it out onto 2-1-3, 2-1-3. Nice job by Condemned and Iska. Center Orb control, putting out constant pressure, making sure that Blanks had no opportunity to kind of resituate himself.
Now, an interesting thing to note, while we only see one actually no, apologies, we have two supports, so there's a lot of sustain. Now, the serious Shifu combo, with a single ability, if they both at the same time cast their top damage ability with 0% energy, they can deal 46 damage, which takes 6 off the top, right? Because your max health once you pass 40. But when we see Rook Lucy, only 36. So they actually can't take max health off with just a single ability from the both of them. Now, we see Rook timing a lot of his things with his in-cap, his M2, and his boulder. So that's where he's going to get a lot more damage. But if he's not able to line those things up, which is a little bit tough with counters and mobilities to worry about, it's going to be a lot harder for them to take that max health off of NotSure prizes are real.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point, right? They need uptime. That's what that means. They need uptime, or they need a very, very good setup. And this is what we're talking about. 213, 213 has been beating away on Condemned for so long. Half health already. There's a boulder. Will land on the Shifu. And now the weakened debuff is dropped off of 213, 213. He procs the counter onto Sirius, but does not get the counter of his own. And now Blanks is the one that's going to be isolated out. But a good crippling goo.
They're stuck
this is a
in
bad
there.
spot. A lot of health lost on both Condemned and Iska, and that's really going to buy a strong position for Project Horizon in this finals match.
Oh, we saw them dedicate to try and get blanks while 213 was petrified in the back, but it didn't matter. He puts out the goo, and alone he dealt so much damage.
213, 213 looking for who he can close out on. Gets control of the center orb, and that's going to be good. Trying to make sure they don't lose control of this match or this round. Nice stun and the panic. That combo.
The ultimate. Oh, but he got petrified between the iframes. Not matter. Another ultimate is going to come up. Iska now. Another
dashes into his doom.
Dashing into his doom. Another respectful and glorious ending. Just a reminder, everybody, I don't know if we spoke on it. The finals are best of 9.
Best of 9, yep. Win score 5.
Win score 5.
And so they have to play a best of 3 maps to earn first place here and eliminate their opponents. So this is going to be the first map of the possible 3 maps that we will play. Blanks in 213, 213. Fantastic coordination on their part. The charge stun happened, and then Blanks was able to land the panic right after that landed. Allowed 213, 213 to boulder throw, and then use the crushing blow stun.
Now we see a typical build out of Iska, going with a double Petrify, using Lunatic, so he has 2 Lunar Strikes. Celestial Strikel, so whenever he lands his Prismatic Strike, which is his R, his weapon recharge goes an instant 50% charge. Lethal Slash, which gives that ability, Crescent Strike, 6 bonus damage. And now Radiance, Sunlight heals you for 6 health when an ally is being healed, so it helps sustain on the full team-wise. And we see Condemned actually going poised to strike. So every time he gets countered, or every time his counter gets procced, his Kunju is triggered, he'll get 3 weapon charges onto his M2.
213, 213 is finding a lot of efficiency, and the counter does get procced by Iska, and that's going to continue his really, really great trades against Iska. Meanwhile, Blanks is actually taking out Condemned on his own. He's actually doing a huge 1v1 right now, has to pop the material, and the center orb goes to 213, 213, coming up so big in this match. 213, 213 actually doing so much across the whole map here, and here comes the ultimate coming out. We'll do a second hit of damage onto the Sirius. And Project Horizon are very far in the lead here. Oh my god, jumps the Petrify and gets a ton of damage. The counter doesn't get procced, and now Condemned and Iska are trying to connect onto Blanks. The crippling goo comes out.
Oh, pushed into it!
The crushing blow will take out Sirius, or will take out Shifu. That round could not have been any more dominant for Project Horizon.
Condemned seem to have underestimated Lucy here. The Petrify and or Panic double inject combo. I believe it's 48 damage she can pump out with 2 lethal injections.
Yeah, 24 each. Yep.
24 each, so it's 48 total with 2 lethal injects. Plus she'll probably get just a standard M1 off on you, which, you know, will give you Toxic, which deals 9 damage over time, and also deal 12 off the bat. You know, so we're looking at upwards of close to 60 damage from Lucy when you think you're just going to take her down.
Oh, the counter gets procced. Oh, and he baits both their counters. 213, 213 is going absolutely crazy right now. The trades, the brawl.
Oh, the double
oh my god! No more, stop! This is just murder.
So much. He does finally proc. Oh, both
now
counters
he
end
gets
up getting
both
procced.
of them. That's a payback. Presses both the buttons. Man, nice patience from Condemned and Iska. Won't proc the counter, but avoids the weakened debuff again. And 213, 213 basically just on his own pushed down 30% of the team health off of Condemned and Iska. Counter comes out. There's Sirius using his Astral Beam. 213, 213 does get the charge stun, but will lose the center orb just a little bit too late. Whirling Blade does not proc 213, 213's counter. It's going to be interesting. That was a good play from Condemned and Iska to buy them back into this game. And now they're even, but they need to watch out for the Berserking Rook.
Oh my!
Wow, he nearly played the mind game and tried to catch Iska with the stun. That would have been a good connection for them. Counter does get proc, but so does Blanks. The Kunju does actually whiff on the bonus damage there. Will catch the incapacitate onto Blanks, but still Blanks is super healthy. 2-1-3, 2-1-3. Oh no! Oh no, caught in a bad spot. Iska will get taken down. Here comes the Rook ultimate. One more. Oh, goodbye. The immaterial did not last long enough, and counter will not help you in that scenario. 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is absolutely flying away with this map right now.
He's finally getting a feel and a groove for when those counters are going to start getting popped up. We saw him, he'd dash in, he'd get his counter procced, and then whoever he's in front of would counter, so he'd actually turn around, immediately ignore them, knowing they were going to try and counter, and would chase down the other one while he's in Berserk. Fantastic play, and as you know, his ultimate, actually every single fissure, every slam down, it actually gives him, using the iframe to dodge that first one. Yeah. But it does more damage as it goes. The final one dealing 36 damage, getting that killing blow.
Trying to bait the counters. You can see him just taking one swing and then turning away. Trying to make sure that he does not hit into Sirius's counter. 2-1-3, 2-1-3 spends his own, and it does not proc. The boulder, wow, 2-1-3, 2-1-3 turned around just in time to not hit Condemn's counter. And that's going to put them in an even situation here. Really, the only thing that's been won right now is resources. Blanks is nearly at the ultimate. Good use of the Clarity Potion. Takes out the Kunju and the Immaterial. Wow, nice from 2-1-3, 2-1-3. Wins the orb against 2. Counter again, proc. We'll get the snare, actually, onto Sirius. Throws the boulder, and that's going to cause Sirius to spend mobility. Will a Crippling Goo come out on top? Not quite yet. Blanks has the meter to do so. Boulder. The Panic Flash is going to miss. Turns their attention to the center warp. Astral Beam is going to acquire it for Not Sure If Prizes Are Real. Blanks uses a Swift Roll to escape being CC'd. And here comes the spacebar in for Sirius. Will land a charge shot on Blanks. The counter does proc. There's another charge shot landing onto Blanks, and he desperately needs to heal himself up, but Weaken is going to mitigate some of that healing. The counter goes out. We'll get petrified on it. It looks like Condemned and Iska are looking to connect onto Blanks. They're going to take the center orb yet again. Slowly but surely. There's a whirling blade, and you're done. The Weaken on top. Can't heal yourself up. Nice play from Condemned and Iska. Methodical and piece by piece just deconstructing Project Horizon. Nice answer for Condemned and Iska being 3 rounds down.
I mean, fantastic use of ultimates. We see them getting that perfect. Just, I mean, Lucy taking every bit of damage from the Shifu ult.
He dodges all the petrifies. He gets invulnerable when you jump up and down. And Iska makes a big mistake right now. Oh, neither the counter does get proc, and 2-1-3, 2-1-3 avoids the counter of Iska. Dangerous situation, and they actually gave 2-1-3, 2-1-3 so much space to operate, but enough health. Not sure if Prizes Are Real will be able to close it out. Nicely done.
They are staring down the barrel with only 1 loss away from losing the first point in this finals series. But as we see, Shifu's full whirlwind does 112 damage over 3 seconds, which is insane considering the fact that Lucy only has 190 health.
Weaken does go onto Rook as well as onto Blanks. And right now 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is low on cooldowns to try to mitigate damage, but he is going to land the charge, and he gets the Berserk off of that as well. The counter does land. Blanks lost a good chunk of health, and I don't think 2-1-3, 2-1-3 has really answered back in a meaningful way. The counter does proc and will actually avoid the counter of Shifu. Has to spend the immaterial, but the crushing blow is going to land. Armor break is here. Will get stunned up. Shifu is going to take so much damage. Whirling Blade comes through to mitigate a little bit of it. Weakened on Blanks, and that's a lot of counter damage there. The situation is so tense, but just in that moment, Project Horizon bought themselves a lot of space back into this game.
Orbs go. Oh, the orb goes to Project Horizon. We're going to see an ultimate come out, but Blank's now stuck with Condemned in the back. He's going to double lethal injection. Oh man, the Clarity Potion on the immaterial. That's going to allow 2-1-3, 2-1-3 to get in on Condemned. We'll see. Barrier comes out, and Iska spends a lot of mobility here. Does the flick, avoids the counter. 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is just playing in between Condemned and Iska really, really well. Center orb will go to Not Sure If Prizes Are Real, and that's key for them. They need anything to keep them in this game. The panic, 2 swings, making sure not to break it out. Counter does get procced, but right now, anybody is on the verge of actually getting taken down here. It all depends on the connection. 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and Blanks has been doing really good, baiting out cooldowns for Condemned, but cannot seem to just land the uptime they need. Wow. Oh, that one got sniped by Lucy.
Uh-oh, Sirius is in danger. Uses the spacebar to get away, and they might get into a situation where it's going to be an isolated 2v1. No, but 2-on-3, 2-on-3, decides to go straight for Sirius, gets petrified up.
He got petrified in the middle of his ultimate.
Immaterial does get spent by Condemned. Gonna try to go for the charge on him. Will swing, or rather incapacitate. That's gonna win the center orb for Condemned and Niska. Astral Beam comes out. There's the stun. Is there gonna be a counter as well? No, Condemned is just refusing to pop it, and I think that might be the smart decision.
Oh,
Whirling Blade uses the Clarity Potion to try to keep him off, but Blanks is in a bad situation. The counter
push
does
Condemned
drop.
out!
The Spear allows Condemned to get back in. The Clarity Potion again,
Oh
and the Rock.
my!
There's a stun, the charge stun as well, but Blanks is in danger. Condemned. The center orb goes to Project Horizon.
There comes the goo, there it is!
My goodness. I am just exhausted watching that, but the long game again goes to Project Horizon.
I can't breathe.
I can't.
Oh, help me. That was incredible. And it really just goes to show that it really takes that one moment that a team starts to take away, starts to get, you know, that combo they need, or really just gets that groove going with their cooldowns and make sure that they are able to get the sustain and or the damage, the burst. And it really just came down, I mean, 2-1-3. We already talked about how mechanically strong he is. One of the best mechanical players pretty much in the game, able to really just deal with the counters, tries best to turn around, make sure he doesn't. And you know, the big change on Rook is M2 is now treated as an M1
Yes.
as far as how things react to it. It's an AoE, and he always goes to stun in the beginning, which is probably silly not to. It's so strong. It really just does help interrupt things, but it will proc counters, and it will actually get treated as an M1, which it didn't used to.
Which is crazy.
It was kind of stupid. I didn't even know what I lost to Rooks all the time. Maybe it's because I suck.
I just lose to everything.
There's a good chance. But this is going to be a good replay we're going to check out really quick, where Rook uses a lot of his movement, pushing Sirius into Lucy ult to secure the round. This is actually perfect. So he uses his iframe to get away from the first Petrify, and then walks out of the second one. He's going to counter into an ultimate, which actually doesn't work in his favor, but we're going to see Lucy's ult go down perfectly. Not terribly perfectly, but it's going to go down. We see the counter, and then he's going to try to get out of it. In cap push right back in. At that point, he knew it wasn't going to get the in cap, but even if he did, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been perfect. Well, even though the in cap would have been broken nearly immediately because of the dot of the ultimate, but it's great to use that movement, and we see 2-1-3's done a fantastic job of even with his boulder, able to place the boulder. We saw him get a great boulder movement, meat stick snipe. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, boulder
to say the
into
least.
meat stick. Yeah. Fantastic. 2-1-3, 2-1-3 mechanically is excelling, and there were so many moments in the match where he was just bouncing back and forth between Condemned and Niska, baiting out counters, doing so much damage, avoiding CC, so many things at the same time. It's just been a treat to watch Rook played at that level.
Yep. And we're gonna silently wait. Am I supposed to join you on this? Let's do this.
We just enjoy the view.
Oh man, I just got creeped out like no one's business.
Silence is something that a lot of people are very uncomfortable with.
Yes.
Yes.
Including myself. It's actually a good portion of why I might be sitting here. I don't know how to stop talking.
That's
the moment this broadcast ends, I actually keep going.
Yeah.
Not great for everyone around me. I lose a lot of friends after about a week because they're like, oh, this guy's really cool. He's really talkative. He's having a good time. And a week later, they're like, he won't shut up. Please stay away from me. Oh God, I'm scared.
You lasted 4 whole weeks here, so.
It's so far.
So far. You did it, man.
We don't see it much lasting too much longer, but they're now into champ picks.
Yeah.
I don't expect to see much of a change.
Yeah, I don't think
honest.
so either. I don't think so either.
No.
I think there is value in kind of trying to figure out.
There's no change.
Trying to figure out how you can make it work with compositions that you have, especially if they're characters that you've played a lot and are kind of the most accustomed to, right? Because there's so many little things. I mean, you just look at 2-1-3, 2-1-3 on Rook. How do you match the amount of speed he's forcing you to make decisions? Let's go into the game and take a look. How do you match that speed of him just like throwing damage onto you and then avoiding your CC, and you have to keep thinking on your feet like, okay, well now what is the situation? absolutely insane. Going into the second map, Project Horizon up 1 map to 0. Counter does get procced, and again, we see him just baiting out these counters, and he's just going to go straight for Shifu. Iska does get in on blanks just a little bit, but 2-on-3 does not even get phased. He's just going to continue beating away on Condemned. We'll get the center orb, gets petrified for it. There's a good double petrify by Iska. He's going to control the situation, goes onto the Lucy, uses Prismatic Strike into the charged weapon strike. Counter does get procced, and again, what?
Oh man, turning around, making sure he doesn't proc, and then still dashing out of the petrify.
2-on-3. I mean, the best way to describe it is just looks like he's dancing around the cooldowns of Iska and Condemned. It's just like a flurry of doom and just impeccable decision making.
Oh,
Nice
stunning him out of the ultimate. Perfect, trying to save Lucy. Oh, getting a Flicks landing every single fissure.
Wow. Astral Beam trying to punish blanks a little bit. And now we see ourselves again in a situation where it's just 2-on-3 alone versus 2, and they're trying to make up, they're spending a lot of mobility to try to catch up to blanks. 2-on-3 actually getting a little bit low now. They did hit a lot of damage onto 2-on-3 by splitting onto the Lucy. Just trying to make sure that there's more than one target that blanks has to keep topped off.
Oh, the barrier going to try and mitigate some of the damage on Rook, but 2-on-3 is going to take just too much burst. M2s and Rs and charge them ones.
I like that decision-making from Condemned and Iska. They tried to constantly threaten blanks to push away from his teammate. Ended up in a situation where 2-on-3 is basically 2v1, and blanks is playing very conservatively in terms of positioning, just to make sure that if blanks comes in, that they immediately jump on blanks and cause him to get pushed back out. Could not get the healing they needed onto 2-on-3, and he lost a lot of max health because of it. And then we saw that situation at the end where Rook only has a sliver of health left. And it's easy to close that out with the Shifu series. You have a lot of burst.
Especially, you know, since Lucy only has her roll, once she's out, she's not going to be able to follow a Rook who just keeps flinging itself around and trying to get out of there. He gets sped up whenever his counter gets procced. He also, his space is such a long distance.
Man, a big connection for 2-on-3 onto Sirius. The counter does not get procced, but 2-on-3 will hit it. Puts the weaken onto Lucy. That's going to make the healing much less effective here. And 2-on-3 continues losing a lot of health. The Petrify nearly lands on both, but that's going to stop 2-on-3 from getting big damage off that wall banging cap.
Iska got the orbital. No one was able to pressure him.
Condemned and Iska are playing really, really well now. And I think they're really waiting until the last moment to activate the counter because they know how tricky 2-on-3 can get. Counter gets spent, weakened up on 2-on-3. Oh, nice wall bang into the in-cap, wins Project Horizon the orb, and that might be the moment to turn it around. Immaterial gets dispelled by the Clarity Potion. There's a panic, there's a combo. You need to watch out. Crippling Goo is going to help peel a little bit for blanks. Gets petrified up in the center, and that's going to stop blanks from really picking up 2-on-3. Whips the charge.
Flinging by.
Nice, Project Horizon win the center orb again. And there's a big in-cap, one for each. There's a wallbang.
What?
That did so much damage. Wallbang into charge and still had the crushing blow. Will spend it to avoid the petrify. And despite the fact that the early game went so well for Condemned and Iska, a set of good decision-making, winning Project Horizon 2 orbs, and then the closing at the end.
That looked awesome. Using the boulder to push somebody into you as your, I don't even know what to call that, the Rook slide?
The Rook slide.
I mean, we probably should call it what it's called, rush, but it looks pretty. He just like slides himself across the field. But he used the boulder to push them into him, so even sooner they met, colliding into each other. But taking the, since it was really short, it probably only took around 12 to 15 damage. It actually does more damage depending on the distance he travels. But the boulder dealing 16, and now the boulder will deal 4 bonus damage, so 20 damage from the boulder, and inflicting armor break. So everything after that's going to be increased by 20%. It's very strong. I think this is around the round where 2-1-3 starts to really pick up on the damage he can deal out.
And he still has Crushing Blow to follow that charge stun. And so you're still in for the Crushing Blow plus a left mouse button all while you're in armor break. It's a lot to handle. All right. Iska and Condemned did really well in the early games in the last round, but ended up losing to Project Horizon. And I think some of that was 2-on-3 played really well aggressively, and some of that was really a strategy of allowing Project Horizon to get a lot of center orbs.
Oh, Blank taking some damage.
Blanks will swift roll out of the situation. Weekend has been coming up so big for Iska and Condemn. I really think that's something that's making it much more difficult than Project Horizon would like. There's a Weekend onto Lucy, will not be able to effectively heal, has to spend the swift roll away, and now they're going to turn damage onto 2-1-3, 2-1-3. Nice incapacity is going to allow Condemned to do a lot of damage. Gets the Kunju proc, and now Iska and Condemned are going to try to collapse onto Blanks. There's the Astral Beam. Will win the center orb, and 2-1-3, 2-1-3 try to push them away to peel for Blanks. But really, they're just fighting a losing battle. The health levels are so high on Condemned and Iska's side.
They really are, and you bring up a good point with the Weekend. It's 50% reduced healing and damage. So if they just throw it on that Rook and then chase down Blanks, even if Rook starts wailing on them when they're not paying attention, it's going to be reduced by so much, and he's not going to be able to get enough heals as well. I think timing that has definitely been key to them getting these victories.
2-1-3, 2-1-3 gets weakened up again, and he's actually getting to that health level where it's dangerously low. Uses a counter, but doesn't get procced, and now Rook is pretty exposed. He uses his ultimate, but gets, oh no, heal up! Watch out for the crippling goo, and Iska just barely gets out of the situation. Project Horizon nearly made the counter kill happen.
I don't know how they're able to pull this off considering all the damage it took. Oh!
What?
And there it is! No one expects the meat stick!
The meat stick did so much damage there. 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and Blanks secure a good spot for them. It felt like they were losing all game, but again, that late game decision making, there it is. The meat stick does so much damage, man. Whirling Blade on deck. There it is. Oh. That sucked. Shifu just wanted to play. Blanks does proc Shifu's counter. We'll spend the immaterial, and no cooldowns left for Condemned now, and the map is closing in on him. Nice stun. Could not let Condemned mount up. Kunju does get procced. Still has the immaterial to pop as well.
That's only going to get worse for Shifu.
Yep. He gets the health orbs. Tries to push him into the dead zone. Wow. That meat. How much damage does that do?
It actually does 24, I believe.
That's huge. That's the same as a banana.
That's it. It's called meatball.
Food-related projectiles seem to do 24 damage.
It's a rotten banana, though. It's purple and gross.
That is, yes.
But yeah, it does 24 damage. It's called Meat Bolt. It is his EX right-click. So, you know, instead of getting his crushing blow, he gets the Meat Bolt. And it will also snare and reduce the movement speed by the target for 50% for 2 seconds. So, you know, it's definitely tough to do because you're dedicating 25% to something that might not land. It's pretty hard. It is pretty fast, though, as far as projectiles go. It's one of the faster projectiles in the game. But at the same time, you know, you're doing a good bit of damage from a distance, and you don't really expect that from a Rook. You're waiting for his rush, which is very projected because he goes, Roar! You know it's coming. So, you know, the unexpected meat bolt is always a fun tactic.
Wow, good mitigation by Blanks, but he really wants that first point of energy, and the instant he gets it, he just swift rolls out of that situation. That's one of the hardest times for Lucy is the early game until you get their first 25 energy. And Blanks survives pretty well to that point. Center orb does go to Not Sure If Prizes Are Real, and that's going to put a lot of pressure onto Blanks again. Has to spend a second swift roll.
Oh, the in-cap, the combo!
Oh, man, and 2-1-3, 2-1-3 does a ton of damage to Condemn. How do these situations come up?
Doing a great job of just making sure they're positioned correctly is a big part of it as well. Landing the end caps, trying to use, you know, there's so much movement of the enemies on the side of Project Horizon between panics and pushes and petrifies, all sorts of things. They're able to really control the battlefield.
2-1-3, 2-1-3 trades to spend his counter in anticipation of something coming his way to peel for Iska. But Condemned is actually making a big connection onto Blanks. There's a good panic. The armor break is actually put on. Barry will avoid Astral Beam damage.
Whoa, not getting the end cap.
Yeah, and I think 2-1-3, 2-1-3 would have liked to have that in cap, but really it just earned them the center orb there, pushed them far back enough that they were able to move back and hold a defensive position. Condemned and Iska need to play very, very carefully. 2-1-3, 2-1-3 just spent all his resources and whiffed his rush. Blank spending his barrier and his swift roll. He needs to make sure that he stays away from Condemned. The fear is going to be a tough skill to land because Condemned definitely has his counter. And there it is, Whirling Blade
the
comes
ultimate,
up.
the panic.
But this might be the cross kill. Incapacitate, boulder throw.
Oh, the heal!
Wow.
The heal from the space just kept him alive, and now this is going to be so much more difficult for 2-3. Had he gotten that kill, he might have been able to 1v1, but this is going to be dangerous.
We'll see. Condemned is at very, very low health. He's at 49. So there's definitely a situation where, like this, you can't counter that. And now Sirius is going to take a ton of damage. Shifu coming back, needs to pick up the healing orbs to get topped off. Boulder is going to miss. Tough situation for 2-on-3, 2-on-3, but definitely can do it. He's healthy enough. It just comes down to how the cooldowns will trade. Nice, counter does proc for 2-on-3, 2-on-3, and it could be possible. The incapacity gets broken. Condemned and Iska will win the center warp. There's a charge stun. Will proc the counter, and I think this might be it.
No.
Well played from Condemned and Iska. Kept their discipline, was patient, and made sure they didn't try to cut corners, and really pushed out all the options that 2-on-3, 2-on-3 had. Secure the victory.
That was tough. If he was able to keep himself separate, he might have been able to use his eat to survive. It's a 16 initial heal and 24 after, so that's 40 health.
That's a lot.
Which is it. That's the most you can heal. Up to your max, unless you're picking up orbs and stuff, but that's the most you can possibly heal. It takes a little bit for the 24 health. It's 24 for 4 seconds. So, he has a lot more sustain than he looks, and it is actually misleading because you see him eat and you're like, oh, that wasn't a lot of health. I'm going to keep going for him. But you don't realize he's still healing over time as you're trying to jump in on him.
Rook comes in for the rush. Does get the left mouse button on the Sirius. The jump does not put Sirius close enough to Blanks to make the charge strike hit. Dispels the double petrify. Tries to land the rush, but is worried about the counter. Will flick around and hit Shifu with it. And now center orb control is in contention. There's battle split across the map right now. Blanks in trouble from Condemned. Meanwhile, 2-on-3, 2-on-3 is pressuring out the Sirius.
Seeming like neither team really came too much on top. 88% health pool on the side of Project Horizon to 78, so only 10% difference. But this still could go either way. All we need is some good damage dealt from one, some burst, and maybe some nice CC chains.
Yes. I wonder why he threw the boulder there. Maybe an executional mistake. Double stun. They're both fools. He just made them both look like idiots.
Baiting out the double counter. Now they're going to try and go in on this, but the in cap's going to reduce that.
Oh, the ultimate to trade, and that's a good spot. He jumps the petrify. Wow, and Sirius took so much damage for that, and now 2-on-3, 2-on-3 is free from using that clarity potion.
Oh, baiting another counter out.
Oh, and he gets his own. Incapacity is going to buy some time, but Iska does not have the petrifies to follow it up. And this is huge right now. The rush coming in, and Sirius is in trouble. Will go down to 2-on-3, 2-on-3. Methodical outplaying of the cooldown expenditure, and that all started when 2-on-3, 2-on-3 juked the rush, and both Condemned and Iska popped their counter as a response.
When Sirius went down, from when I mentioned their health differences, and when Sirius went down, they only lost 6% health, and not even max because they were able to heal it back up, and now,
the meat stick finish. 2-on-3, 2-on-3. Closes it out. The mechanics on his dueling is so excellent. 2-on-3, 2-on-3 is killing it.
What's funny, and mind games play a lot, and especially in games where you need quick reaction times, he hasn't really done that yet. He hasn't faked his rush. Which is why they both pulled the counter, because he's been going in every single time. But the 2 times he did cancel and use his cancel cast, it wasn't enough to pull counter out of both of them one time and then one out of the other.
Blanks in trouble here. Double incapacitate is going to set up a good situation for Condemned and Iska. Iska does not decide to go for the petrify, but there's a big counter that's going to hurt Blanks a lot. Gets the weaken, gets a charge strike attack, and Sirius is going to be going in with spacebar as soon as he can, really soon. Center orb goes to NotSure if Prime Money is real. And Blanks in 2-on-3, 2-on-3 somehow managed to stabilize after all of that pressure. There's the Panic Flask out onto the Shifu. And 2-on-3, 2-on-3 is doing a ton of damage onto Sirius.
That 20% increase really does push that into a serious combo.
Man!
Oh, no, I've done it.
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, I hate myself. I'm leaving.
Stay, please. If you leave, you cannot redeem yourself. And redemption is the only path to forgiveness. Petrify comes out 2-on-3, 2-on-3, gonna AD his way past both of that and win the center warp. That is called spacing. That is called footsies right there. 2-on-3, 2-on-3, just outplaying his opponents just by moving left and right.
Oh, using the iframe to take as little damage as possible and getting the stun. Now they're gonna chase down Blanks as the end cap comes out.
Nice, will land the boulder off of it, tries to bait out the counter, and there's a stun off the wallbang incapacitate. Counter gets proc, crippling goo comes out, but gets incapacitated in it, and Condemned will find himself running away from that scenario. Flick onto Iska. And right now, I can't believe it, but Project Horizon are slowly and methodically playing out each of these scenarios in a very smart fashion. Again, both the counters are proc.
Oh no, here it comes. The material might save him from the last fissure.
And that's a pretty good consolation prize for Iska and Condemned. Blanks tries to keep the Whirling Blade off. The Swift Roll is going to get her around the corner just barely. Immaterial does get popped. Kunju is activated. And Blanks actually gets petrified in the corner. Now 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is in trouble. The Prismatic Strike will close it out. And good connection from Condemned and Iska. And this really just goes to show how high level this game is. The execution must be perfect. Condemned and Iska were able to have so many attempts at playing aggression. Project Horizon was doing really well keeping themselves alive, but finally Iska and Condemned coordinated a huge set of offense onto Project Horizon, and finally were they able to close it out. And so many times, I think we've said this so many times, one team is ahead, but then execution comes down for the other team and they buy themselves back or win the round off of it.
And it comes down to hunting down Lucy. That's really what turned that around. They were hunting down Blanks as much as they could. 2-1-3 tried to come in to save him, ended up accidentally proccing a Shifu counter, which then put it behind him. He then had to try and run away from the damage because by then he started taking incidental damage. Sirius was able to pin him down and actually catch him in the corner and finish him off. So a lot of times it comes down to finding the opportunity when to switch targets and just make the dedication and just go all in. They went all in on Blanks there at the end, and it ended up reducing the amount of damage that they could try and dish out to the both of them.
Right. Some counters are proc, but Blanks gets out of that situation fairly unscathed. Will use a Swift Roll to get away. Incapacitate lands onto 2-1-3, 2-1-3, but Condemned actually does land the Spear to hook onto Blanks. And now 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is going to lose a lot of max health and health. Both Project Horizon's members are actually losing a lot. Immaterial is going to help Condemned get away from that stun, but 2-1-3, 2-1-3 focuses his attention onto the center orb and does earn it.
Oh, the double ultimate! 2-1-3 gets completely melted down.
He's going to use the E to try to mitigate a little bit more. There's a double incap, and this could be in a big turnaround.
Oh,
no, they both scatter. They both scatter, and that's a counter team synergy.
The boulder pushed them out.
Man, that's really not what you want to have happen. Center orb, wow, everybody's just countering now. And 2-1-3, 2-1-3 continues to be in a bad spot, but I think he's going to win out that trade against Sirius, and now Condemned is in a 2v1 situation. 2-1-3, 2-1-3 tries to find what he can with the ultimate, but gets petrified up. And now the counter does get proc. Sirius is in trouble. Watch out. He's going to chase him down. Maybe it's the meat stick. Meanwhile, Condemned is getting 1v1 by Blanks. Gets hit on the mount, gets snared up, and the center orb goes to Project Horizon. A situation that was so bad for Project Horizon gets turned around by a series of set plays. And anything can happen with these two compositions. I'm just... There's the ultimate. He's trying to get out of it. He's trying to eat the counter. He procs it. Blanks takes down Sirius. Why? Oh my God! They came back and 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and Blanks win that round.
Oh, this hurts my brain.
Who could have ever thought?
I honestly thought this round was going to prizes. I did not think they were going to be able to turn this around. 2-1-3 going in with negligible health. He had like 80, 90 tops? Maybe? And he just kept going and kept getting counters, using his iframes perfectly. Lucy was healing him up, getting the barriers on him. Oh.
Eating is so good. So much sustain coming out from 2-1-3, 2-1-3 just because he has that heal on the EXE. Oh no, Blanks is getting dunked on right now. A lot of damage coming through, and he definitely does not have any cooldowns. He needs to get
Blanks.
He's got a Swift Roll, but now he procs the counter of Shifu, and he's still being chased out. Petrified goes on to 2-1-3, 2-1-3. I mean, we've seen them come back from worse, but this is tough. Blanks has lost a ton of health.
He really has, but now we're going to see if 2-1-3, he's going to do his best. Oh, pushed away, not able to get the Whirling Blades, but Blanks is going to continue to get chased down just out of range.
Gets the wallbang in cap, and Blanks with that Swift Roll was
Oh, we missed it!
Oh, God, and 2-1-3, 2-1-3. Tried to play some kind of mind game, but lost out the center orb. Gets petrified on the counter, and Blanks is in trouble now.
Orb.
Mind game the orb, nice Swift Roll, but I think this is still dangerous. Sirius and Shifu could still use mobility to get in on Blanks, and here it comes. Here comes the trouble. Barrier gets popped, but nobody's on Blanks, and the timing is not exactly perfect. Swift Roll will help Blanks kite away again. There's a crushing blow. Will earn Project Horizon the orb, and they're slowly buying themselves back into this game. I think we're going to see another turnaround here.
Oh, the ultimate might be too much. Oh, he gets stunned out of it, but the Petrify. Oh, the damage gets killed before the third fissure. The most damage, 36. That might have been enough to put Shifu down low, but this is going to be nearly impossible.
Swift roll is going to help him
1%, 5%.
Man, good discipline and timing from Condemned and Iska to make sure that Rook has landed from that ultimate. That's the hardest part because Rook keeps jumping up and down while he's doing that. There's a lot of moments where he's invulnerable. Landed the incapacitate to interrupt the ultimate, closes it out on 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and we're bringing it up to a tie. Rounds are tied up. If Project Horizon wins this map, they will win the match and be first place once again. But if Condemned and Iska are able to take the round, they will bring it to a third map.
Incredible playing from both of these teams. I mean, I can't say it enough. Just the timing, the reaction time, able to, you know, pair the things up. Oh, starting with a gnarly rush right off the bat.
Blanks finds the barrier and will mitigate a little bit of that pressure. Counter does get procced here, gets the snare on both team members of Prizes. Orb goes to Project Horizon, and 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is alive and well again, looking to do some damage. Weakening does get applied, the counter does get baited. Turns around and goes onto the Shifu. The immaterial gets popped. Counter eats up the Panic Flash, and that's going to put Blanks in a dangerous situation. Nice wallbang, incapacitate, gets a rush stun. But Blanks is still in trouble, still being chased down. Counter does get procced. Meanwhile, the counter gets procced for Rook as well. They're trying to make some counter damage happen. Incapacitate into Petrify is going to give a lot of ground to Condemned and Iska. And that might be the key play of the round here. Ultimate coming out from Rook. Will do a good bit of damage.
The third one just falls short.
That's going to peel for Blanks just a little bit. He's now in a safe spot, and aggression will cool down from Condemned and Iska for the moment. Crushing blow will stun both, but Condemned and Iska get the center orb. Immaterial does get popped. Barrier is the response here, and Blanks gets away without using the swift roll. A lot of damage coming on to 2-1-3, 2-1-3, but will use a rush stun. Baits out the counter, uses the mobility, and 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is going to turn around and handle Condemned now. Gets incapacitated and will be petrified off, and no, he jumps away and rushes out of the second one. The counter does get proc berserk on 2-1-3, 2-1-3. Crippling Goo is going to zone for Blanks, and he's going to be able to get another energy bar for swift roll because 2-1-3, 2-1-3 won the center orb. That's a big play here for Project Horizon, and that sets them up. That sets themselves up for success here. Petrified, but gets claritied.
They're definitely a good place, especially since Blanks has built Alacrity and Stimulant, which means increases the speed whoever has the barrier on them, and Revitalize increases the damage output by 15%. So trying to make sure that Rook can deal the damage he needs. The in-cap followed by the boulder, but he gets petrified.
Nice
Stunned him out!
On the Whirling Blade.
Stunned them both out!
2-1-3, 2-1-3 is trying what he can to buy himself back into this game. The counter does not, they do not take the bait. Condemned and Iska do not hit into the counter, but the boulder lands on Shifu. This could be a dangerous situation. There's health missing from both members of Prizes, and if 2-1-3, 2-1-3 makes a big connection and commits to it, that could spell doom for either the Shifu or the Sirius.
Oh,
Blank's now in trouble. Again, the counter gets avoided. We'll have to jump the Petrify, but does land, and I think that's going to close it out on Blanks. 2-1-3, 2-1-3 put it in a very tough spot, and it's looking likely that Prizes will bring it up to a 1-1 map tie. Impale will secure the middle orb, does get the counter to proc, and now he's petrified up. And 2-1-3, 2-1-3 knows it's over. They will be going to a final third map.
Somehow, Prizes were able to continue the mental integrity to just... I honestly, like, a lot of this, and these matchups are so, like, this is a very unique matchup we haven't seen. I mean, Rook Lucy, we don't see Rook ever. We haven't seen Rook in competitive play very often, and I know he's getting more popular. And we haven't seen Shifu Sirius make it this far and have to play at this, you know, high level of skill play. A lot of it comes down to positioning, trying to pin one person down, trying to make sure you get the burst, get the max health down. And with Rook and Lucy, you know, Rook's trying to use, he has so much movement of the enemies on his side. He can use his in-cap, his R, pushes them away, pushes them back. His boulder, he's got his rush, which gives you a little half mini stun. His M2, which gives you a little mini stun. Lucy has her panic. She has her petrify and her clarity potion. So overall, they're moving them around so much, but the two counters are the biggest thing they have to be like just aware of and kind of scared of, to be honest.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's interesting to see how Condemned and Niska have fought their way back into the series, and we're going to go into the final game 3. Project Horizon is a strong team, and 2-on-3, 2-on-3, and Blanks have good synergy with each other. Can Rook and Lucy go the distance?
I mean, I don't suspect we're going to see any team comp changes, especially after that second map. I mean, they got so close by the very end, you know, to the final round, and it really just has come to really small outplays. Because every tiny ability, and what's cool, because like none of them have any crazy burst. Right? This isn't the Ashkid Croak combo you see often, where they just burst somebody down to half health in one blow. This is much different. This is a sustained damage on both sides, which I find kind of unique, which is also what's making these really interesting outplays, even just those small ones, dodging a single ability, using the iframe perfectly, getting, you know, the double serious in cap, just trying to hone down on Blanks, forcing Blanks, who's playing Lucy, to try and use the roll, the only thing he really has. He's going Blast Shield, which gives him a little bit more, and Clarity Potion, so again, even more pushing, more moving of the enemy team, which is playing key in a lot of this.